make you stronger. So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get my doses from all kinds of sources, and all of them still can't kill me now. You see, as them sink me under ice flow, ride out the storm, them just like a boat. So as the box me down, so I get up. They have to wonder how others get up, and every crack I see, I just see through. And by the help of God, I just get through. I just won't stop. I feel like hope. Move any mountain, I trample any building like hope. Man better than monster, dismantle any strong tower. Trample them, trample them, trample them, trample them. Rip up my shot and bust up my jeans and step on my problems. Then what we gonna do? Trample them, trample them, trample them. Kick out my problems, kick out my problems. Trials and testings does come before blessings, but we have to be patient, yeah. Weeping and mourning in the night, but joy in the morning. But we just have to endure. You see, God, the way no night come, so you don't really need to lie down. Them say what was wrong comes right back around. I go wait until my time come. So from sun up straight to sunset, you could catch I bust in a sweat. I must time out. I feel like hope. Move any mountain, I trample any building like hope. Man better than monster, dismantle any strong tower. Trample them, trample them, trample them, trample them. Rip up my shot and bust up my jeans and step on my problems. Then what we gonna do? Trample them, trample them, trample them. Kick out my problems, kick out my problems. You see, the Most High never give us more than we can bear, but He give us the strength and the will and the power and the courage to handle our problems through Him. So on the count of 4, I want everybody step on their problems. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trample them, trample them, trample them, trample them. Manhandle them, manhandle them. Dismantle them, dismantle them. Trample them, trample them, trample them. Kick out your problems, kick out your problems. So as they sink you under, you float. Ride on the storm, them just like a boat. So as they push you down, so you get up. They have to wonder how you just get up. And every crack you see, you just see through. And by the help of God, you will get through. Now everybody stop. I feel like hope. Should make you stronger. So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get my doses from all kinds of sources, and all of them still can't kill me now. You see, as them sink me under ice flow, ride out the storm, them just like a boat. So as the box me down, so I get up. They have to wonder how others get up, and every crack I see, I just see through. And by the help of God, I just get through. I just won't stop. I feel like hope. Trample them, trample them. Rip up my shot and bust up my jeans and step on my problems. Then what we gonna do? Trample them, trample them, trample them. Kick out my problems, kick out my problems. Trials and testings does come before blessings, but we have to be patient, yeah. Weeping and mourning in the night, but joy in the morning. But we just have to endure. You see, God, the way no night come, so you don't really need to lie down. Them say what was wrong comes right back around. I go wait until my time come. So from sun up straight to sunset, you could catch I bust in a sweat. I must time out. I feel like hope. Move any mountain, I trample any building like hope. can bear, but he gave us the strength and the will and the power and the courage to handle our problems through him. So on the count of 4, I want everybody step on their problems. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trample them, trample them, trample them, trample them. Manhandle them, manhandle them. Dismantle them, dismantle them. Trample them, trample them, trample them. Kick out their problems, kick out their problems. So as they sink you under, you float. Ride on the storm, them just like a boat. So as they push you down, so you get up. They have to wonder how you does get up. And every crack you see, you does see through. And by the help of God, you will get through. Now everybody shout, I feel like hope.
We stand united in the belief that if you empower community, the community empowers the country.
We are the party that gave every child a secondary school education since 2001.
By building more schools in 11 years than others did in 40. We believe that no child,
rich or poor, should be left behind.
Which is why we give every Form 1 student a laptop to expand their minds and their dreams.
We are the party that put police cars back on the streets
and gave the police a $1,000 bonus because we believe that we should support the persons who are protecting you.
We are the party that reduced the murder rate to its lowest in 14 years. We expanded GATE, stopped the property tax, and increased maternity leave.
We are the party that invested in you and your community by investing in schools, community centers, lighted parks, 24-hour health centers, and the most extensive road repair program in decades.
We believe that education is always a solution and that no one should have to pick between sending their child to school or buying food.
We are the party that works for you. We are the first responders in every situation, working to deliver a better standard of living for you and your family.
And most importantly, we have confidence in you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is not a campaign, it's a movement based on building communities and strengthening families.
Come out and join us, and together we will get the nation working and moving again. Our children will once again have access to GATE and technology.
We will improve healthcare
by cutting the time it takes to see a doctor in an emergency. We will establish a senior citizen unit in every major hospital and staff the hospital with the doctors and nurses you need to create a first-class healthcare system. We will focus on creating high-paying jobs, fixing our laws to remove red tape, and ensuring that you and your family are safer. We will reduce corporate taxes to jumpstart the economy, create a special investment zone along the East-West corridor, and work with entrepreneurs to build a digital economy. This is an investment in your community to move the nation forward and get
Thank you, Alderman Gonzalez, for invoking the presence of the Almighty. Philip Gonzalez has been the former council of this very electoral district of Barrackpore and is currently Alderman in the Princestown Regional Corporation. We are in the UNC Pavement report, where we will bring to you the issues from the ground. It is based on the principle, the voice of the people is the voice of God. And we will hear first from Councillor Hindustan St. Mary's, known as the Councillor from the Trenches, a man who understands the cries of the people, the pains of the people, who is loved by the people, none other than Councillor Anwar Red.
Political leader, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessa, Deputy Political Leader, Dr Roodal Moonilal, MP for Murga Tableland, MP Michelle Benjamin, other MP present, Chairman of the Princestown Regional Corporation, Councillors, Alderman, everyone here tonight, good night. Today we gather not just to reflect on the past, but to ignite the hope for a brighter future. Remember a time when Murga Tableland strived under the leadership of the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessa. A time when our community was vibrant, our recreation grounds were alive with sporting and cultural activities. and our youth had abundant opportunities for job, education, and skill development under the leadership of the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. We witnessed improvements in our drainage system that reduced flooding, and many homes finally received pipe-borne water. That was progress. But now, my friends, we face a stark reality. For the past 9 years, this anyhow administration, led by Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, has brought a decline to every corner of our beloved country. Job opportunities are nowhere to be found, and our youth are crying out in despair, facing serious hardship. Even the pipelines laid by the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa stand empty, while our brothers and sisters in the Tabland district struggle with deplorable road conditions, making it impossible for trucks to reach them. Is this neglect or a result of spite of our mismanagement, hard-earned taxpayers' dollar by the PNM administration? To our young people, I say this. I know many of you weren't old enough to vote 9 years ago, but your time is coming. You hold the power to make a difference. The same PNM that has let you down will soon come knocking at your door, offering empty promises and tricks. Crime is rising, with heartbreaking incidents of violence tearing at the fabric of our community. We cannot remain in silence. Families cry out for justice. When will this end if we don't take a stand? United we stand, together we can. Let us reclaim our community, restore our pride for the opportunities the youth deserve. Together we can advocate for change, bring back the vibrant activities that once filled our recreation grounds, and ensure that every home in Murugat Tabland has access to the resources they need. Together we will build a brighter future for Murugat Tabland. Let us make our choices and voices heard. Let's stand for justice. Let's bring about the change we desperately need. Stand with your UNC family, UNC and proud.
You heard it from the councillor from St. Mary's. Let us give him a hearty round of applause. Because if I am to summarize what I heard him say, he said that the people of St. Mary's, Hindustan, are saying that life was better under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Would you agree with him? Yes, and we are hearing a resounding yes here from the full house in Barrackpore, the UNC Pavement report, where people have come out here to share their views. Our next speaker is an experienced councillor, also from the Barrackpore area. She is known for her networking, for her wide network of people. She has today moved with a very large crowd also that has come to support the UNC Pavement report. This is none other than Councillor Kemwati Chulan.
A pleasant good evening, my UNC family. All protocols observed. We are all here this evening in the vicinity of Barrackpore, and we are aware of the problems the people of Barrackpore and environs face on a regular basis. Starting off, there is plenty of flooding in this area, and thanks to when the UNC government, led by Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, were in power, all the large box drains that were built that has helped so much with the flooding in this area. Since then, nothing has been done. There were no additional box drains built or any measures taken to assist or prevent flooding in this area. This area has been neglected and forgotten by the PNM government. You, the residents and people, must remember that. Why? Because you want to vote in a government that will care for you care for the environment that you live in, build infrastructure, and take initiatives like the UNC government did to take care of the issues surrounding flooding. This area is also plagued with predial larceny. Farmers who depend on mining their animals and growing their crops to sell and send their children to school end up in tears because of predial larceny. This present government, that is this PNM government, has done absolutely nothing to help the farmers. There is no fully operational predial larceny squad in this area, and farmers continue to lose their animals and their crops as we speak. They have no control over this, leaving them with no choice but to do nothing about it and accept the losses that they have faced, which in fact cause a huge consequence to their livelihood, that of their families, and more so, the children's school life. Even when they have applied for a firearm, it is a long, challenging hassle by which they do not get through. This is a call that I am making, that farmers should be considered for firearms. Another issue impacting these areas is the unemployment rate, which is extremely high, and that is since Caroni closed down, followed by Petrotrin closing. There is no place where young people can get a job, so the families here are suffering very much. We know that when UNC come back into government and Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the Prime Minister, there will be many jobs. Because she will open back Petrotrin, a lot of attention will be given to the farmers and all of the lands that are uncultivated right now. Farmers will then, under the UNC government, be able to get strong support through the agencies in the Ministry of Agriculture to be able to farm and find markets for their produce. In this pavement report, you must take the message to your friends and family, because everyone is suffering and going through severe hardship in this country, presently under this PNM government, and therefore you must do everything in your power to be able to get back a UNC government which had so many positive things for the people of this area. I thank you. Long live the United National Congress. Long live Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Let's hear it for Councillor Chulan, bringing the voice of the people to the UNC Pavement Report in the constituency of Moruga Tableland, taking place right here in Barrackpore. In the crowd are many stalwarts from Barrackpore, and we have with us here our Member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland, Sister Michelle Benjamin. In the crowd, Chairman of the Princestown Regional Corporation, Chairman Gauri Rupnarayan. Former Chairman, Mr. Eknath Singh. So the house is full. Here is buzzing. Those who are coming, we are at Khan's Diagnostic Center in Barrackpore. The house is full. There is love all over. It is the UNC Pavement Report. You heard it from Councillor Chulan. The days were better under the UNC. The days were better under Kamala Persad-Bissessar. But she said more. She said that the UNC will be the next government and Kamala Persad-Bissessar will be the next Prime Minister.
Councillor, when we get in water in Canai Road South, when we get in water in Orput South Trace, when Nana and South Trace get in water, so what about Edward Trace, Pina Rock Road, Marak? These are just simple water requests. 62 years later, after independence and 48 years after republic, these are still essential questions of today's in this 21st century. Not to mention places like Platinic, La Fortune Trace, Herrera Trace, Tomper Trace, La Chacha Trace, John Joe still don't have water after several years of PNM governance. The youth continue to ask, Councillor, I want to work. I have my subjects. Others have my degree and still nothing. Every day is pain and more pain. Councillor, all I want is an opportunity, please. My question tonight is, when will our youths be given real opportunities other than a URP 10 days here and there, or a little CPEP work? 62 years later after independence and 48 years after republic, these are still essential questions my youths continue to ask in this 21st century because there's limited or no employment opportunities. Another question when the Murugga people ask is when there will be true and real development. My response to them, would be when Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessa becomes the next Prime Minister of this country, Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine we had a warden office that gone. We had a courthouse. Yes, a courthouse that gone. We had a post office. Yes, too, that gone. I must say thanks to the late Mr. Clifton Dikoto, former Member of Parliament from Murugga Tablan, for actually giving Murugga the modern-day police station and illuminating the major recreational grounds under the leadership of our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessa. My electors continue to ask, Councillor, when we get in that fire station in Murugga, after 12 or more deaths, with those most recent as 67-year-old Mr. Surincha Rupnarang or 28-year-old Mr. Wendell Calendar, several house fires leave several persons like Mr. Suraj homeless. Tonight I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, with a UNC government, your fire station would be coming. They promise while we deliver. Imagine 62 years later after independence and 48 years after republic. These are still essential questions my electors continue to ask in this 21st century because there's limited or no infrastructural development. Tonight I call on the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries to open the Granchime Fishing Facility for the Murugga fishermen. And whilst you're doing that, don't forget the D, because the D is in the Granchime. Another question is when priority will be given to agricultural access roads, places like La Fortune Trace, the food basket of Murugga, St. Clair Branch Trace, not forgetting Edward Trace, whose major bridge would have collapsed in 2022, which today continues to hinder the development of agriculture within Murugga electoral district. Our farmers continue to suffer based on poor access and egress, causing continued heartache and headache. Tonight, I'm calling on both the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, together with the Minister of Energy, Industries, to at least construct or install a Bailey Bridge for the farmers and hunters in time for the upcoming hunting season. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to report not only on the issues, but on my performance as a third-term councillor within the Murugga electoral district, which is simple as a call or a text away. The following are my major achievements: the construction of the Guljal Trace Bridge, the upgrade of the Granchime Recreational Conference Room, construction of the Murugga Beach Facility Kiosk, upgrade of the washroom, showers, and changing room, upgrading of the sheds, construction of the Suka and Trace and Bastia Recreational Grounds play parks, construction of Tihul Trace Box Lane and Road Crossing, construction of Larafin Road Crossing, construction of the Maitland Trace Box Lane and Road Crossing, construction of the St. Clair Branch Trace Road Crossing, and the list can go on and on, ladies and gentlemen. I must say, this is our opportunity to make real and true progress. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I want to say, let's stand together for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Let's stand together united as we continue to forge a way forward for our next generation to come. Because according to Martin Luther King Jr., and I quote, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Are you willing to be the difference? Are you willing to be the change? Are you willing to make the impact in the not too distant future? Ladies and gentlemen, together as we move forward with our political leader and the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, because she has the experience, she has the political savvy, she has the vision, she has the plan to move this country forward. Together we can. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You heard it, third time councillor for the United National Congress for the electoral district of Moruga Barrackpore. That is confidence that the people of Moruga and Barrackpore has in the United National Congress. He outlined to you the voice of Moruga, that the farmers, that the fishermen, that the teachers, that everyone is saying that we are waiting for the return of Kamla Persad-Bissessar as Prime Minister and the return of the United National Congress as the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Let's make some noise for that in the UNC Pavement report in the constituency of Moruga Tableland, and we are in Barrackpore. The next councillor and speaker brings youth and dedication together. This is the councillor for 5th Company, young Alima Ali. Let's welcome her to the podium.
Political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Deputy Political Leader, Dr. Roodal Moonilal, MP for Moruga Tableland, Ms. Michelle Benjamin, MP for Princestown, Mr. Barry Padarat, Chairman of the Princestown Regional Corporation, Mr. Gauri Rupnarayan, Councillor colleagues, aldermen, residents, a pleasant good night. Tonight we are gathered in a quiet community of Barrackpore. Barrackpore is known for its contribution to the oil industry in Trinidad and Tobago, and those familiar with the community would have remembered seeing the oil rigs growing up. Being the semi-rural community that has contributed to Trinidad and Tobago's GDP, we have been neglected for far too long. For instance, the Rochelle Douglas Road was paved over 15 years ago, and that was under the governance of the United National Congress. This is the main access road that is used to access other communities within Barrackpore and also leads to Moruga. The Ministry of Works and Transport is seldom seen in our community doing any sort of substantial rehabilitation works. We are subject to only the little patching for the massive potholes that if you go down in, you will definitely burst a tire. Those who live and commute in this area know the struggle of driving on these deplorable roads daily. Parents are on the roads multiple times per day, taking their children to and from schools and getting to their workplaces. Under the United National Congress, between 2010 and 2015, the commute from Barrackpore took approximately 20 minutes. Today, that identical journey takes around 45 minutes. Most citizens are genuinely striving to make a better living for themselves. They are working hard to afford the luxury of having a vehicle, but the maintenance cost is sky high. You go into a pothole or you drive along the Komoto North Road in Barrackpore, which is on the verge of becoming impassable. And you will need to change a bushing or a rubber or even buy brakes pads way more often than you would need to. Not forgetting to mention that the cost of diesel and petrol has been increased multiple times under the governance of the People's National Movement. And if you don't own a vehicle, well then you have to deal with the regular increase of taxi fares. I ask you here tonight, residents, how long are you willing to endure this quality of life? How much longer will you put up with the poor governance of our nation? The previous MPs and councillors would have sent numerous correspondence to the Ministry of Works and Transport, Drainage Division, concerning the flooding and the drainage situation in Barrackpore. It is a low-lying community, and we are affected by severe flooding every single year. The Princeton Regional Corporation and the Penal-Davie Regional Corporation would use whatever resources that we have available to clean and maintain the watercourses. However, assistance is needed from the ministry, especially to dredge the South Oropouche River. If you're all familiar, you all can see trees growing in the river because it has not been maintained for such a long period of time. The regular maintenance before the rainy season begins will severely reduce the impact of flooding in areas such as Ramlal Trace, Oropouche River Road, and Kanhai Road. These earthen drains that are leading towards the larger watercourses cannot accommodate the volume of water running through. Funding at the regional corporation is so limited, and therefore constructing box drains throughout the entire flood-prone area is impossible. The assistance is needed from the government to provide some sort of relief and comfort to my residents to know that flooding, the effects of flooding, can be reduced. We recently began a new school term as well. Parents had to provide new school books, new uniforms, and source transportation for their children to get to and from school. There was not a single day that I did not receive a phone call or a message from one of my burgesses asking for help. There were actually mothers crying on the phone, begging for anything small that could assist with their children's education. And these children are performing exceptionally well academically, but their parents simply do not have the means sometimes to provide for them. What happened to the book grants that the government recently gave out? How many deserving families actually received this assistance? But our political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, she saw a vision and a future for our youths. She saw the need for laptops for our children. She saw the need for gate funding so that people can actually access tertiary level education and become employed in their fields and provide a better lifestyle for themselves and for their families. She saw the need for the textbook rental programs in both the primary school and the secondary schools to ease that financial burdens on parents. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar has a vision for Trinidad and Tobago. We need to wake up. We need to wake up and see the need for change. We as a nation cannot and we will not survive another 5 years under the governance of the PNM. Trinidad and Tobago, we need proper governance, we need proper representation, and that can only happen under the leadership and the governance of the United National Congress. In closing, I ask of you, when that election bell is rung, let us stand together. Let us secure Trinidad and Tobago. Let us make the right decision to secure a future for our children. Let us stand with the United National Congress. Thank you and good night.
Quite fulfilling very much the facts you have heard from Councillor Alima, expressing the hardships that the corporations face in terms of delivering to the people under this government. And I will expand a bit because the councillor opened up the topic of finance to corporations. Allocations are given at the budget. Allocations mean you will get this sum of money to be able to fix drains and roads and build box culverts and all of that. And those figures look very fat and nice when the budget is read. Budget is coming up soon in a couple days. But when the time comes for release, which is when you actually get the money to do the work, months pass and no money is released. In the corporation that I am affiliated with, it was only to the end of July. So you had to run a corporation and serve the people with no money in the area of development projects, which is where you build your box drains and all of that, pave your roads and so on, until nearing the end of the financial year, which is now. So on the 11th hour, you get a letter, not the money as yet, you say, you can go ahead, do some projects, I'll give you the money. Then lo and behold, this is very important, listen to this. the council has opened up a very important area that you must understand. Lo and behold then, on that 11th hour, you are told that if you don't finish those projects and return the invoice back to the government, to the Ministry of Finance, that money is lost. Quote me on it, because you will hear all kinds of other fairy tales from the government, from ministers. If you do not finish that project between September, the beginning of September, end of August, thereabout, when you do evaluation, you put out for bids, you advertise, you come. Concrete takes 21 days to cure for projects with box culverts and so on. How are you expected in a realistic, pragmatic way to complete those projects and to be able to submit that invoice to receive those payments? It is impossible. So it is only really a trick to say that I am giving you money. You lose that money, and then from your next year's allocation, you have to do that project. You have to take out that money to pay. That's a very sinister move. That's a dishonest move. That's a barbaric move. That is victimization to the people of Barrackpore and Princestown and Moruga and Debe and Pinal. And I know by the noise that you are making here, we will send a message to them to tell them they must give us our money for this financial year, in this financial year, to pay for our projects and to bring relief and service to the people. Because which government will do its people that, promise them, and then pull it back? Play that game. Somebody answered it. Who will do it? The PNM. And we must send them a message. We will send them a message for this budget day that pay us our monies during the financial year to be able to pay our service providers so that the people can have benefit. All of these roads, the council spoke of the connector roads, to be able to connect Debe to Barrackpore and to Moruga. It was a vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa. You all will recall that she said if you have connections via transit, you will have commerce, you will have economic activity. And we saw it. The growth that you are seeing along this Rochard Road, and as you go to Lower Barrackpore, all of those businesses that have been popping is as a result of that increase in those transit, in those routes, in the field road that was paved. It made transport from Barrackpore to Debe so short. These are realistic, real deliveries that we have already experienced. So there's no question when it comes to which is the performing government that we want, which is the prime minister that we want. The answer is clear. Make some noise. The answer is the United National Congress and a Kamala Prasad Bisesa-led government, because we have experienced performance. We have experienced service. The Oropuch South Pavilion and Recreation Ground under the UNC. Ramkalia Trace under the UNC. Sukhan Trace, three recreation grounds right here, so that the youths can have a place to go and play cricket, football, spend time in the evening. We had community patrols. Anyone here remember community patrols that used to pass in the evening so you could stay late and walk and so on? We have lost all of that. That has been taken away. That has been confiscated. We have been robbed of that service of which we are taxpayers, and we contribute to the national purse. And we are saying, we are coming into government. The next government will be the United National Congress. The confidence is here. We hear it from the people. We hear it in the UNC Pavement report in Moruga Tableland today. The councillors are bringing the voice of the people from far and wide, from within the constituency. And we are saying that the next Prime Minister of this country, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, will bring back that performance and that service. And we can have once again our lives. We can have our communities. We can have a crime-free area. Farmers can plant their crops and not be afraid, as the councillor said, of their crops being stolen and no redress. Where is the Predial Larceny unit? It has been dismantled from Cregnish, moved to Central. So 2 officers has to patrol from Central to Cedras to Moruga. Then you hear of, okay, we will increase the strength in Predial Larceny. But you're not seeing it. You're seeing the strength of the poachers and of the criminals coming and taking your produce, and you have nothing. And when a farmer loses, one of the councillors spoke of it, he loses livelihood. He loses an opportunity to send his child to school. That is what it translates to. This is why this is serious business. So we are in the UNC Pavement report. The next counselor is an experienced counselor. He's a counselor that is an expert in the area of artificial intelligence and automation. He has been the chairperson of finance in the Pinal Debe Regional Corporation, so I'm sure he will expand a bit on the finances and how we are stifled by this government. He is none other than Councillor Nicholas Kanhai. Let's hear it for him.
A pleasant good evening, each and everyone. After a fiery presentation like that from my chairman, it makes my job a lot easier, because chairman spoke a lot of what I wanted to talk about. And it's only because we didn't share notes, but it's because we're passionate about the same thing. We opened this evening with prayer, and Pastor Gonzalez said, help is on the way. I want to let you all know, help is on the way, but if you want help, you have to do the work towards it. You have to want the help. You have to do the work to get the help. Kamla Prasad Bisasa is on the way. Deputy Political Leader Roodal Moonilal is on the way. Michelle Benjamin, MP for Muruga Tebalan, is on the way. Your councillors, your chairman, your other MPs, they are on the way. But while we are doing our part, we need your help. We need your help to hold our hands to get towards a space where Trinidad and Tobago can recover. Because as it is right now, I think Councillor Alima said it, we cannot survive another 5 years under this wicked, cruel PNM government. A couple days ago, we were informed that the Ministry of Finance, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance issued a memorandum to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Rural Development, transfer of funds in the amount of $43,622,300. So you're moving money, transferring money from the regional corporations. Follow me here, because Chairman started to talk about finance. You're moving $43 million from the regional corporations and you're putting it in CPEP. CPEP will benefit from $36 million. RDC will benefit from $7 million of that transfer. But the PNM government boasts, you remember the last local government election, friends? The PNM boasted of local government reform. And a year later, from August to now, have we seen any reform of the local government area? We see no reform, none whatsoever. And the figures will show, the figures will tell us. They want to talk about reform. Local government reform includes the local government building program and local government reform transformation. The government moved $11 million from these two heads to CPEP. So nothing is happening in terms of local government building. That's where they were looking to house the executive council, the municipal council, additional administrative offices and things. That is no longer a priority for this government. Local government reform transformation. You know they talk about property tax? You hear lie? That is lie. No property tax is coming to the regional corporations. They continue, they have now extended the deadline. The Ministry of Finance is collecting the property tax at its revenue offices, and they will hold that money and determine what they're going to do with it. That money is not coming to the regional corporations. They talk about state of readiness for property tax. Up to now, the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, and I'm certain the Princestown Regional Corporation, other corporations, they are not in a state of readiness to collect this property tax. Even if they were, they gave the allocation for it, and the chairman said allocation sounds big, it sounds grand, but it's not released. And you know what? We're not even to the very end of the financial year where the government often tries to give you a release and then you can't spend it, so it claims unspent balances. $11 million for local government building and local government reform transformation has now been taken away. You know, the government boasted of Ministry of Digitization, I believe. Well, that ministry failed to launch, because when the government is talking about moving into a digital space, a digital era, while the rest of the world is catching up and using advanced technologies, Trinidad is lagging behind, because they have moved $8 million from computerization and they give it to CPEP. So this government is not serious about transformation. They're not serious about digitization. They're not serious about making Trinidad and Tobago competitive on a global scale. And what would computerization do for us, colleagues, in local government? You know, all of our fleet, we have dozens and dozens of vehicles and equipment and so on. We could put RFID on our vehicles. We could invest in weigh bridges to monitor the material that we are purchasing, the material that is going on the job site and so on. We could invest in camera systems for our assets, to protect and secure our assets, but we don't have that money anymore. We can't do that. On the 15th of September, municipal police head wants autonomy to fill almost 500 vacancies. Budget after budget after budget. And Dr. Moonilal, the Shadow for Ministry of National Security, the government will come and they will boast 100 municipal police officers for each corporation. You hear lie, that is lie. These people crazy. This government is not serious about crime. They have no interest in fighting and reducing crime, whether it's in the capital or in the rural areas. Because municipal police stations, municipal police equipment, municipal police vehicles, amassing almost $5 million from several corporations was transferred. So monies that we already had budgeted for projects, they've taken that money now, so we no longer have access to that. The projects cannot be completed, so we're now lagging behind again. Moving along quite quickly, and you know, Chairman, you spoke about environment earlier. The Minister, every time we go, any corporation goes, I think Sangre Grande was one of them, Chaguanas Borough, Princestown, especially the UNC corporations, when we make noise about not getting timely releases, the Minister of Local Government, Faris Al-Rawi, will jump up and say, well, you could do environment. Is environment really so easy? No, environment means council has to be called. We need to ventilate. Where are we going to do environment from? We're going to move from one head to another head. But while council approves it, we need to get Minister of Finance approval as well. So it's not a snap of a finger. And furthermore, when you may have excess funds at a particular period in personal expenditure, you could utilize the money because you're hoping you can get it back. But you cannot move money from personal expenditure to any other route. You just can't do that. That's a no-no. So it's not as easy as the minister saying you could do environment. Environment is not as simple, and we cannot do it to solve the problems that we have, which is lack of releases, lack of financial planning, lack of financial management by the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Rural Development, and otherwise. The other thing that Chairman spoke of that I want to build on is it's a memo that we would have received just yesterday from the Permanent Secretary of Rural Development and Local Government, the CEOs of municipal corporations. And they're asking for a report on confirmed and awarded projects not paid in financial year 2023-2024. Colleagues, this is that financial year. We are in the financial year 23-24. That started on the 1st of October 2023, and it will come to an end on the 30th of September 2024. That is on Monday. You remember when the whole hullabaloo about OPR came on, and corporations and other state enterprises were suffocated, or they found themselves in a standstill because the act and the law wasn't clear? After that was proclaimed, the procurement legislation was proclaimed. We had to wait several months, almost a year later, to get the regulations in which we can operate minor procurement up to $1 million. So while we were waiting for that, the corporations, we would have done our draft estimates, we would have done all of our homework. Prepare our draft estimates, submit it to the ministry, you would have gotten allocation, again you prepare all of your estimates, submitted that. We got a correspondence, another member from the ministry. You could go ahead and advertise, but you could advertise and in your tender notices, you could say confirmation of funds. Confirmation does not mean releases. And it's a awaiting confirmation of funds. So you're informing your contractor that funds either on its way or funds could be on its way. Colleagues, the Penal Labour Regional Corporation, we would have tendered 89 projects, none of which funding has been released up to today. We have to know our allocation for development program funding. That's all of your mega drainage projects, or your box culverts, your recreation grounds, cemeteries, municipal police stations, roads and bridges. All of these important projects. Now, each district only get about 3 projects based on the minimal allocation that we have. Up to now, up to this evening, when we left council, we had meetings. Up to 4 o'clock this evening, $0.00 was released to the Penal Labour Regional Corporation. What does that mean? We talk about financial year, colleagues, and I'm talking about the finances because I want us to understand the discrimination that we face under our PNM government. If the money is not released by September 30th, it means we cannot pay any of the contractors. And what it means is that the project will now roll over and the invoices will have to be paid out of next year's allocation. And they're telling us, they boldface, procurement proceedings took place and resulted in the award of the provision of goods and services where releases were not received, which is all of our projects, and payments not made to the contractors. In this instance, these will become the first commitments upon the new financial year's allocation under the development program. So they're basically telling us, you're not going to get the money, but it will be prioritized as the first set of payments next year, next allocation, next financial year. So what it means, you see the projects that are happening now in Pinal-Debe, there are no projects to come in the next financial year because the monies will now be committed to this year's projects. So the flooding, the bridges that are collapsing, the drains that will improve and the flood relief in our communities, the improvement of our pavilions, the upgrade of our cemeteries, our municipal police stations, our tourism development sites. There are no projects to come next year. None. And if we don't wake up and understand what this PNM government is doing to us, we will continue going down this precipice. Help is on its way. The United National Congress is the only political organization that can save us. They say it's time for a U-turn. Our political leader, our deputy political leaders, our MPs and senators, our councillors, they have been on the ground, they have been sharing this message. It's time for a U-turn. Two things before I wrap up. Dr. Roodal Moonilal, the MP for Oropouche East, and has been for the last 20 years, would have advocated with councillors Chulan and myself for the construction of a dual carriage bridge in Papri Road, Lower Barrackpore, in Monkey Town there, and then at number 2 junction, New Colonial Road. After several years of advocating and numerous correspondences, those projects started. Colleagues, those projects should have been completed months ago. The inconvenience that the delay in these projects are providing for our burgesses, it is significant. It is wasting our time. It's wasting fuel. It's ridiculous. And Chair also spoke of the connector roads. Secondary Roads Rehabilitation Company was launched just about a year before the local government election. Well, we thought it was a company that was formed so the government will be able to generate a little finances for the election and so on. But true to that, the company was formed and they asked each corporation, recommend your 5 worst roads. Well, Pinal-Debe, we have 800 roads. Only 300 are vested. But out of the 800 roads, we recommended the 5 most important. What were those 5? Those 5 were Barrackpore trees. And I want us to give Councillor Kimothy Chulan a hearty round of applause for prioritizing that project. Although we got no assistance from the PNM. Barrackpore Trace flows onto Digiti Link Road, that takes you out by Sundar Popo there, that takes you on the Lal Bihari Trace, size 3. So think about the connector, connecting communities. We in Maruga, we in Princestown, we in Rock Road. We are now traveling to get to Debe, because Debe is where the highway starts. And hundreds and thousands of persons traverse these roadways on a daily basis. Barrackpore Trace was prioritized. Digiti Link Road was prioritized. Lal Bihari Trace was prioritized. And on the other end, in Councillor Budram's area, Solomon Knox Road was prioritized. In Councillor Prasad Singh and Councillor Ramsewak's area, Dumfries Roads were prioritized. Those were the 5. The estimates were prepared. The due diligence was done. We submitted the forms to secondary roads. Up to today, not a single project was done by secondary roads. And you know the announcement just a few weeks ago by the Prime Minister, they're going to dissolve that company. After how much? Millions of dollars unaccounted for. In the audit report, it spoke of the secondary roads company. They cannot account for millions of dollars. They're going to shut down the project and not a single project done in Pinal-Debe. And these projects were not to benefit small communities. You know. These were major thoroughfares connecting major communities. These were arteries. And the PNM government just neglected South Trinidad. They neglected UNC-held constituencies. That is discrimination. And the last thing I want to talk about before I wrap up is, because I could talk whole night, because I'm real passionate about local government and the issues that face our people. On September of last year, the Peter family of Diggity Village, they're a vulnerable family in society. And one of the child is attending Barrackpore East Secondary School. And the other child, the son, he passed for Laramie Secondary, I believe it was. So they asked for a counselor, if he could help us with a transfer. So we do a letter of recommendation and so on. Submitted it to the Ministry of Education, and this family has been following up since. And my friend Kelly, who is here, she told me, she said, Nicholas, this young man, he came across in the shop where I work. And the child is working, but he looks like a young man. When Kelly found out, it's because this child is 13 years old and he's working. Why? Because the family continuously is going to Ministry of Education asking about the update for the transfer. Ministry tell them, the school has no space. We can't help you, you have to go. I spoke to the father just about a week ago, inquiring what's happening. The father was in tears because he's unemployed. The wife is trying to make ends meet. One of the other child is sick, and he's unable to send the child to school. So we talk about crime, we talk about a breakdown in society, breakdown of morals and values and all of these things. The PNM government is absolutely responsible for all of the ills that we face in our society. From depriving a child of education to getting employment, sustainable employment, to improving our rural roads and drainage and water supply and our garbage and all of it. Poor management, poor governance, poor policies by the PNM government and their failed battery of misfits. They have caused all of us to suffer tremendously. So tonight, as I started, I want to remind all of you, help is on its way. We all have to be ambassadors and preach the gospel at the United National Congress. We, through our political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, she is the savior for Trinidad and Tobago this time around. So I encourage all of you, in your communities, in your homes, in your families, echo the sentiments, encourage, mobilize on the ground, because the election will be called very soon. And we all have to do our part to ensure good governance is returned to Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
To make an adjustment here. Thank you very much, Councillor Nicholas Kanhai. He has definitely brought the facts to the forefront of the UNC Pavement report happening here with a full house in the constituency of Moruga Tableland right here in Barrackpore. I see many activists, many men from the ground that have showed up here tonight to show their confidence in the United National Congress, and they are just waiting for that day when the UNC could return to government and we can see service, service, service. While Councillor was talking, I say, I'm going to change it. I'm going to find 3 things and give the PNM some praise, And you know what I came up with? I listened to the councillor and I listened to all the councillors spoke already. And I came up with nothing, number 2, nothing, and number 3, nothing. There's nothing that we can say that the PNM has done for the upliftment of our lives. Even our children are suffering. You heard it. Right across here, an activity center was to be built under the UNC. The residents of this area will know that. It's under bush, never been continued. But as the councillor said, hope is on the way. The UNC will be back in government, and we will have items like those, like the activity center where children can come in the evening. You see, a government must understand the spirit of the rural people, the spirit of the people of Barrackpore, of Moruga, of Tableland, of Hindustan, of Naji Road, of Lengwa, of Indian Walk. When you don't understand that, your deliveries or your non-deliveries put them in peril, give them more hardship. And that is what we are experiencing. Our roads are in bad condition. The councillor spoke of if you go down in a hole, you bust a tire, a whole ball joint will fall out. If you see those holes, how big they have never been maintained, no work being done in these areas. And we must understand that. The councillor spoke of being an ambassador. Now you are well equipped and informed to understand the finances, so that when the man comes on the TV, who's come and say, if you're closing your fridge door, this, that, You must tell him and tell the others who support him that you understand the financing of corporations now. You can't just do a viament. A viament, you don't pull it out of a hat. You can't take from one vote and put into the other. You can't take your rice box that you have rice and you store dal in it, or you store cane juice. You can't do that. Everything is specific. It is specified. This is how it works. And furthermore, if you get zero, how you'll via zero into where? And if you get $0 and then the minister say cut by 50%, how do you do that? That is the hardship we are facing. You must understand that and you must share it. Feel proud to know that you received that information at the UNC Pavement report. You must be proud. You must become ambassadors and you must say that it is under the UNC our lives were better because we know it. Our next speaker is a daughter of the soil, one who has grown. Someone spoke earlier on of the Honorable Clifton Dikoto, who has spent significant time with him and who have understood the people of Maruga Tableland, the length and breadth of Maruga Tableland the MP has spent time with. She was a member of the constituency executive. I was part of that executive, and she gave sterling contributions. She has been moving around to activate the members on the ground, the activists, the foot soldiers as we call it. She has been on that drive lately. She's none other than Member of Parliament from Maruga Tableland, Sister Michelle Benjamin.
Well, this is our pack house. Good night. Good night, Maruga Tableland. Tonight we in Barrackpore. The PNM forget Barrackpore. I want you to give those councillors a round of applause. Before I begin here tonight, this is the UNC Pavement report. And my brothers and sisters, the purpose of this report is to come and to tell you as it is to have that conversation, and as they say, is to make you ambassadors, to arm you with information. Tonight, that was done. I want Barrackpore to now give themselves a round of applause. You know why? I have to do that before I start here tonight. I heard one of my councillors rightfully said, not one pothole has been fixed underneath this PNM government. Look at me, if you say a road paved in Barrackpore, we're dealing with pothole. And you know why is that? Because they neglect us. They only remember Barrackpore when it is an election. But when I say Barrackpore, clap for yourselves. It's every businessman that come together to patch that Rocha Douglas Road. So I want all you to clap for all yourselves and for the business community in Barrackpore. My brothers and sisters, tonight, again, as I said, we are in Barrackpore. I want to thank you for joining us here tonight. The pavement report is to come and to deliver to you. And I want to give a special thank you and good night to my honorable political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. To my deputy political leader, the lion, I'm going to say the lion, the deputy political lion, but the deputy political leader, the lion, will soon roar on the issues affecting us here as well. The other MPs present, to this chairman, to the chairman of my regional corporation, councillors, aldermen, and again to you, the beautiful people of Maruga Tableland and Barrackpore. Barrackpore, it is time that we get good governance back here. And that was said here by each and every councillor that took to the mic. And how is that going to happen? Only under the United National Congress. It is always a privilege to stand here with you, the people, who represent the heart and soul of our nation.
and the heart and soul of the United National Congress. The people of Barrackpore have suffered far too long underneath this PNM government. Far too long we have been neglected. Barrackpore, is it time to remove this government? Let me hear you. My friends, we are living in challenging times. Yes, crime existed before, but not as much as it does today. Yes, we know we had persons that were vulnerable amongst us, but not as much as today. The PNM have failed us. But we must stand united. There is hope. And you know where that hope is coming from? The United National Congress. Tonight I want to speak about the issues that are directly affecting us, our lives. The brighter future we are fighting for together underneath the United National Congress. And that means a better future, not just for me, the Member of Parliament, but for you, the constituents, for you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Crime and safety of our communities, we are depending on Neighborhood Watch. That is what we are doing today. Barrackpore, like many areas across Trinidad and Tobago, has been deeply affected by the upsurge of crime. Just recently, we witnessed the horrific killings in Muruga Tableland, where a father and a daughter was brutally murdered. But this is not an isolated event. Look what transpired yesterday. While dropping a child off at a preschool, Trinidad and Tobago, we went from 5-year-old to shooting a 4-year-old. When would we wake up? Trinidad and Tobago, this PNM government is treating us. They have us as hostage in our own country. We can't drop our children to school. Across Trinidad and Tobago, families are being torn apart because everyone is mourning the death of someone. Children are losing their lives or going missing. When will this stop? I wonder if it is safe sometime to go outside. Just last week, we had the Minister of Health being robbed at gunpoint. And the minister said something very interesting. As he was making a call after he was robbed, he said, look where crime reached. Tonight, I want to tell Minister, it's not the Lysing, it's the Alsing. I want to tell Minister Dialsing, I am glad you weren't hurt by the robbery. Because we, the United National Congress, we don't promote violence. But Minister, it is not only now crime reached there. Crime reached there 9 years now. The wicked PNM government treats the victims of crimes as statistics. As Keith Rowley said, who dead, dead, who live, live. And that is what we are experiencing. But you know what we as regular citizens cannot do? When we get robbed, we cannot call Heinz, Ola, or Meister. We have to call a police station. And what is the response that we usually get? Have no vehicle. As soon as the vehicle come back from patrol, and I think they go on patrol in another area, we go come. We go come. We call them back. Sometimes we don't get an answer. That is what we, the regular citizens, experience. So Trinidad and Tobago, if you want the crime situation to be reduced, we have to put someone with a plan, and that is Kamla Prasad Visesa. I have lived in Muruga Tableland all my lives, and I have never seen so much criminal activities. From predial larceny to murder, my friends and my family are now victims of criminal activities. I feel the pain for you. The people who are supposed to protect us, they have failed us. The lack of action on crime is costing us more lives daily. And now we have to deal with extortion. Now a dangerous trend is occurring where criminals are targeting hard-working people like you seated here tonight, telling them unless they don't pay them, they are coming for them. And they are coming for you in your homes, in your businesses. They are threatening your families. And I know I'm not talking about persons that are family to the government. I am talking again to the regular persons because their friends and families are not affected by what is happening. I am not talking about the Dwayne who is doing extortion with regards to the property tax. I will deal with him just now. I am talking about the extortion gangs that are roaming our country. The criminals are brave, and you know why they are brave? Because they know underneath this PNM government, nothing will be done to put them in check. While honest, hard-working people struggle to make ends meet, and now they have to pay protection fee. You can't afford groceries, you can't pay a bill, but you have to pay protection fee. And why is this? Because the PNM government will do nothing to safeguard you, the citizens. This government has allowed crime to become rooted in every community. They talk about policies and strategies, they have none. The reality on the ground is that we are living in fear. My friends, soon the election bell will be rung. And you know what we need? We need to come out in our numbers to remove this misfit PNM government. The government's deception in the upcoming budget. And speaking of criminals, Minister Imberg will be presenting the budget on Monday. Remember, we have millions and billions missing. After 9 years, we know what we can expect from the PNM. More lies, more cries, and mama guy. Can we expect anything different? No. We have heard the promises before, haven't we? Every year, the PNM government comes to the population with a budget that they claim will bring relief and progress and development. But what happens every time? They deceive us. This year will be no different. He will come and he will read, but he will deceive. They will speak about big plans and pie in the sky and so-called reforms, but their budget will bring more hardship for the families when the dust is settled. They have cut every essential services. They have increased taxes on the working class. We are now the working poor. And they continue to put the burden of their incompetence on the backs of ordinary citizens. They will promise the moon, but deliver nothing but higher food prices and more taxes, and no jobs because there are fewer opportunities. The PNM budgets are never for the people. You know the old people had a saying, when you spot a Dwen, it's because you know the face in one direction and the foot in the opposite direction. When Imberg's budget is always facing the opposite direction, away from the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and towards the PNM friends, family, and finances. It is never for us, the people. It is never about the ordinary people of Trinidad and Tobago. My friends, we will not be fooled again. Barrackpore, are we taking that? No. Soon, the people of this country need to tell Imberg and Rowley to pack their bag. And you know what we have to say? It's like Alderman Gonzalez, he said the prayer. And he said, hope is coming. And you know what is that hope? This is Imberg's last budget. You know who will be reading the budget next year? Let me hear you. The United National Congress. And that will be a budget for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. In that budget, Barrackpore, and I want to personalize it, Kunjal will get the community center refurbished. We will get the community center in Strange Village. We will get our roads paved. Because what? Kamla Prasad Bisesa would be reading that budget. We would have no more flood. 5 years they said they had a plan for flooding. And before the rainfall, 3 minutes, tongue flood. 1 minute? Okay. Our leader, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, she is standing in the waiting. But we, as the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we have to stop listening to the PNM mantras and their Facebook bloggers and their TikTok influencers. They are trying to scare you. And we need to listen to the report of each counselor that read here tonight. And you know what that report said? That the PNM is suffering each corporation. That the PNM is not delivering to us, but they will come and lie to us very soon. But the UNC is committed to delivering justice and fairness. That is what sets us apart from this government. But while the PNM is busy trying to deceive you, I want you to remember that Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the NATEX of the United National Congress, every councillor, MP, we are fighting. You need to join this battle. Barrackpore, are you joining this battle? The UNC under Kamla Prasad Bisesa is committed to real meaningful change, to fairness, to justice for all, to a country where the ordinary man will be able to have more purchasing power. And let me make it absolutely clear. One of the most shameful failures of this PNM government is the promises they gave to the sugarcane workers and the fact that they have not honored that promise. But they are coming here to tell you that they will soon pay. I want to tell the sugarcane workers here tonight that you are hardworking. This country was built on your strength and on your sweat. And the United National Congress not only promised to pay, but that is a guarantee when Kamla Prasad Bisesa sits as the next Prime Minister. The UNC knows your cry. The UNC hears everything that you have said, that you have waited far too long, and we agree with you. And that money will be paid. We understand the importance, and that commitment has been made. This is not just a pledge. As I said, it is a guarantee. The PNM, they closed down Petrotrin. They closed down Caroni. They have closed down every opportunity for our young persons to get jobs. But the brighter future is underneath the United National Congress. Often when I take the podium, I cannot just speak of different issues. I have to speak about the infrastructure issues that plague my constituency. From Six Company to Hindustan, Tableland, Barrackpore, Muruga, as you would have heard articulated by each and every councillor that belong to the constituency of Muruga Tableland. The people are suffering due to poor infrastructure. What has this government done? This government has spent millions, and our roads are the same. They have built structures like the agro-processing facility. How much employment have this facility given to the youths of Muruga Tableland? The youth of Six Company, the youth of Barrackpore, have you gotten employed in this facility? They have not opened the Grand Chimay fishing facility. Why? They are waiting to cut ribbon when the election bell is rung. They are suffering the fisher folk. Murga Tableland, are we standing for that? We are here tonight to report to you. And as I have told you always, I have written to every minister, every ministry, and I stand here tonight to call on each and every minister. You have approximately 12 months, give or take, whenever the magician pull the date from his pocket. It's time to get off of your, I don't want to use the wrong words here tonight, but it's time to get off of your behinds and start to work for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Do not use our tax-paying dollars to electioneer. Work for us now. I have mothers cannot afford to send their children to school. I have fathers need jobs. We need performance. We do not need old talk. We do not need rhetoric. We do not need promises, because we know P&M stand for promises never materialize. What we want is work. What we want is value for our money. But I want to send a clear message to this P&M government. Your days are numbered. It is time for you to leave the corridor of power. P&M, bye-bye. UNC, hello. We are UNC. We are committed. We stand strong. We stand united. And may God bless us for the battle ahead and for the victory that awaits us. UNC family, are you ready to claim victory? I say thank you.
Definitely the Member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland has spoken for all of the peoples of Moruga Tableland. This constituency starts in Guayari. That is where it starts. Comes up, she has spoken for the farmers, the pineapple farmers of Glod Road, of Tableland, Robert Village, the residents of Hindustan. She spoke of 6th Company, 5th Company, Lengwa Indian Walk, and she spoke and represented the views of the people of Moruga, Grand Chemin, and also the views of the Barrackpore region, of Kunja Road. What a beautiful representation. What beautiful views she has brought, and how she has explained why we should never ever put back the PNM in power. We need to get the United National Congress back into government, and then people will be prosperous, people will be happy, people will regain their communities, crime will be low, farmers can be happy to plant their lands. So much we have heard from the Member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland. We thank you, MP. The next speaker is a speaker who has many, many distinctions in several areas of academic study, political science, law, has written many papers in industrial relations, have lectured in industrial law, and has produced many papers in terms of workers' agenda, labor relations, and workers' rights. He's also a man on the ground. Any day, anytime you go to Oropuch East, you can find him on the ground, socializing, meeting and greeting. I do not limit him to one constituency. He's a man of many constituencies. You can find him anywhere. He also takes on the oppressive PNM with fortitude, with strength, with tenacity, with vigor. He is known as the lion. He roars at them. He is none other than the Member of Parliament for Oropuch East, Deputy Political Leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Dr. Roodal Moonilal.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the chairman, the very illustrious Gautam Maharaj. Give him a round of applause. Brothers and sisters assembled here in your numbers in Barrackpore, in the constituency of Maruga Tableland. Let me greet all of you who braved the weather to come out here in your live, for the live audience. Let me greet as well all the listeners and viewers on the social media platforms. Our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Members of Parliament who are here. The Honorable Lakram Bodo, Member of Parliament for the constituency of Faizabad. The Member of Parliament for Princestown, the Honorable Barry Padarat is here. The Member of Parliament for St. Augustine, Sister Khadija Amin. And of course, the Member of Parliament who you heard a few moments ago, our warrior princess, Ms. Michelle Benjamin, who gave us that very strong presentation a few moments ago. The Member of Parliament for Couva North. Well, Gautam reminds me, like Orupuchis, he could be found anywhere. The Member of Parliament for Couva North, the very hard-working Member of Parliament. I think he's now fresh from a marathon on Tuesday last, was it? And a 5K. And I understand he himself did the 10K. Ravi Ratiram, give him a nice welcome. Any other members of Parliament? Our PRO, Mr. Dr. Kurt Megu, our campaign manager, Mr. Firoz Khan, is also in the house. Could I ask you to give a round of applause to these dynamic councillor speakers we have heard all evening? Anwar Reddy, councillor for Hindustan St. Mary's, give him a round of applause. Our councillor Kimi Chulan, who made I want to tell you, when Kimi was coming up here, I thought Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa arrived, you know. Kimi, for a wonderful job. Joseph Laurent, councillor for Maruga, give him a round of applause. Our sister Alima Ali, councillor for 5th Company. Our councillor for Barrackpore West, of course, Nicholas Kanhai. And as I always tell them, this in the UNC party, we have Kanhai, we have Gibbs, and we have Sobas. So we have a winning team. And I will not single anyone out, but I want to tell you, as a pattern tonight, these councillors are passionate. They are determined, they are knowledgeable, and they are courageous. And it came across from all their speeches. Tonight, on a somber note, I wanted, before I begin, to express our deepest condolences to the Nanan family of Ghat Road, GP Road, Barrackpore, on the death of our dear mother and grandmother, our elderly sister Shanti Nanan, who passed away a couple days ago. And we extend deepest condolences from the party to the Nanan family of Barrackpore, to our brother Ralph Umrah, the Umrah family from Pinal Barrackpore, and of course to the Ramlogan family, the family of former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan, who indeed, his mother-in-law there passed away. So we'll extend our deepest condolences to the family on this loss of our mother, sister, grandmother, Mrs. Nanan, and we wish the family comfort and strength at this very difficult time. Brothers and sisters, tonight we come to you with the Pavement Report. This is another signature event of the United National Congress. It is only the UNC that does a Pavement Report. And this report is meant to bring to you, the people, in a hard-hitting manner, the issues that are affecting the people. We intend to have the Pavement report every single week in different localities and villages and towns across the nation. To remind you in case you forget of the brutality of the PNM. I hear tonight, and I will not repeat anything that was said before. I will try to tackle some new issues really tonight. I don't want to repeat what the councillors were telling us. You know, I remembered something when I was hearing the councillors earlier speak about bad roads and so on. When in 2015, myself and Sister Jerlene John were in the Ministry of Housing, would you believe we went through a procurement process and we acquired not one, but 2 pothole fixing machines? It actually have that in the world, a pothole fixing machine. These things were made at that time in Germany. We went through a local company and we bought 2. The purpose of buying it, you will say, what is the Ministry of Housing doing with a pothole machine to fix pothole? But we had several estates. We have several estates called HDC estates. And we could not ask the council to go and fix the roads in the estate because they were not, what was the big word you used? They were not part of the regional corporation. They were not handed over. That is the big word I'm looking for, man. Vested. I only know about Vest and Marino and thing, you know about them big thing. So they were not vested in the corporation. So every time we ask a corporation, could you please patch up the road here and there, they say, no, we don't have money for that. It's not vested. So I say, okay, if it's vested or you don't have, we go get Marino. We buy 2 pothole machines to fix pothole paving or something like that they call it. You know, we park it up in the HDC. As soon as government change, they go on sneakily in the night and they grab it and carry it to the Ministry of Works. They say Works having a national pothole fixing program. The 2 machines break down and fall down. They're not working, and for 9 years they haven't used those 2 machines to fix 1 pothole in this country. And when I saw the YouTube video of that, I was so impressed. Nicholas, in 6 minutes, you go, you cordon off the road, and in 6 minutes you fix a pothole. And I start to dream about that. I said, oh God, every estate in the HDC will have nice, smooth road to drive on. We'll put humps and things for the people. They took it away from the HDC, put it in works, and it never used. Today I am told that the machines broke down. The parts are in a state of disrepair. And by now, chicken and duck and thing will be hatching on them machine there. That is what it is. That is under the PNM. Brother, the Debe campus, Dr. Bodo reminded me a few minutes ago. We built the Debe campus for over $500 million. Every time you pass Debe, you see lights on. What the light doing on? They burning electricity. What it doing on? It don't have a class there. It don't have a teacher. It don't have a blackboard. It don't have a sticker chalk. No classes, nothing. Another important institution for the people of South Trinidad and the whole country, you know. That is not for South Trinidad, that is for the whole country. It may be even for the Caribbean students, and they have it languishing there. They will do nothing. That is the PNM spite and malice and hatred for the people and the young people. This is a country today where young people have education. They have no job. Today we are witnessing a brain drain where our degree students, master's students, applying overseas because you don't have jobs in this country for them. The young people are in a state of despair, despondency, and there can be no deeper emotional strain and psychological trauma than a young, brilliant boy or girl, fully educated, and they don't have a job. As Gautam tell you, employment is my field, and I'll tell you something. It is said that employment is the highest form of empowerment. Think of that. The highest form of empowerment is employment. When you have a job, you have an identity. You have a purpose to wake up in the morning. You have a purpose to enjoy the weekend because Monday morning you are back to the grind. You go to work. You earn your income. You feel proud to help mother and father, brother, sister. You have in your pocket something. This government has taken away the dignity from our youth by denying them jobs and employment and empowerment. And I make that point very clear. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa and her government created 50,000 new jobs. I think under them we lost 50,000 jobs. Or maybe more. Correct? Look at the Kuva hospital. It took COVID to open that hospital. They couldn't find the key. When we left there, they locked up the building and they lost the key. When COVID come and people start dying, they say, oh no, we could open that to use as a center for COVID. You remember that? Otherwise, that hospital would also be closed, like the campus in Debe. Brothers and sisters, that is a level of malice. When we went in the government in 2010, I must remind you, brothers and sisters, we met something called a government campus. These big buildings in Port of Spain, where one was for the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Attorney General. One was for education, I believe, and one was for something else, I can't remember yet. But it had a big campus. What did we do? What did Mrs. Bisesa do? Did she say, that is PNM, PNM build that, close down that, don't open that, leave that right there, PNM build that? No, we spent $1 billion to outfit that and open the government campus, open all those buildings for ministries. We never had that level of malice, hate, bitterness. That is the experience under Keith Rowley. Brothers and sisters, they will not fix a pothole. They will not open the Debe campus. They will not fix roads. I mean, I don't want to tell you about road. You all know that. This is an area in Barrackpore, Princestown and so on. There's a road at 2 levels. You have to decide if you're taking the upper floor of the road or the bottom floor of the road. Yeah? When you walk in on one side of the road, you're on top of a car roof, you know. That is in Trinidad and Tobago. Unbelievable. And that is the state we are living in. To come from San Fernando to Barrackpore. Well, I don't know how people just make that so every day. I don't know how. I feel sometime when you give your license in Trinidad, you should give a medical package, doc. And give you a tablet and thing for using this kind of road. Pressure tablet, Panadol, painkiller. All these things you should give with your license. That is the roads they left infrastructure. And I will just tell you something. Have you noticed every major project the PNM does with infrastructure is delayed, is cost overrun, is corruption? Many of you go to the Mosquito Creek for a funeral and so on. They have there the mosquito crack. The road mash up 2 years now and they cannot fix it. They changed contractor recently and I think the new contractor have a problem too. That is it. That is the problem. Look at in Claxton Bay. Have you all noticed there's an iron wall along the highway? All you notice that? I write the Ministry of Civil, I see an iron wall on the highway. Some of my constituents want to advertise. If we could use that to advertise. That looks like an advertisement. Iron wall. Let me tell you something about that project. Because you won't know. That project started as a little project, a small little project for a landslip. The project was valued at $1 million. $1 million. You know the fella who got the project, he gone and put the wall in the wrong place. Now, how you just do that, I don't know. He put the wall in the wrong place and everything fall down. Fire him. They bring a next contractor. He said, well, my work is really just to fix the thing and ensure the whole highway don't collapse. So he put steel and leave the steel because that was his job. His job is not to fix the whole thing, it's to stop the highway from falling down. Now they have tendered that project out for $27 million. What started as a $1 million project to fix a little landslip at the side of the highway becomes a $27 million project because of inefficiency, corruption, mismanagement. All the good people in these ministries, they fired. when they came into power, they say, you looking like UNC, you is UNC, you is UNC, fire everybody, HDC, works, airport, everywhere. And today, a $1 million project is a $27 million project. And there's an iron wall along the highway that poses serious hazard for motorists. God forbid somebody lose control of their vehicle. You know what will happen when they meet up with that iron wall? That is in the highway. Look higher up the highway. You all know they're doing some work between Chase Village and Shagwanas, right? That creates enormous traffic every day. Because there's a hazard. You're driving next to thing poking out from the ground and thing. So you must take your time. Do you know that is also, today, that is also dogged, bedeviled by inefficiency, by slow down in works. Because again, I give it as I get it. Claxton Bay, they put the wall in the wrong place. In the highway now, Chase Village, they use the wrong material. They use the wrong material. And when they went, I believe the company is Pure, I believe it's Pure. Pure could correct me if I'm impure. But Pure went to do their quality controls and so on. They realized the contractor used the wrong material. Then they realized they're building it and it have a walkover. I think that was built by the UNC, Mr. Pandey administration. They had to move the walkover. And then discover they don't have the technical expertise to do that. You see trouble? Mosquito Crack, Claxton Bay, Shagwanas, I give you one more. They have something called the San Fernando Wharf Development. Now, I just passed there a lot because in the back there, I just passed the escape traffic and thing. If you go down there now, you see 2 stray dogs and a crapo. That's the wharf development. You can see 2 pothong and a crapo down there. I born and grew up in San Fernando. You just go by a fella in a corner to buy bacon buljol and to buy Milo. You just sell in a little containerized thing there. I'm doing that for about 20-30 years now. Buying a cup of Milo and a bread and cheese and thing there. They have had no development. They try to build a highway. Do you know it's only 2 lane now? One part, a 2-lane part of the highway is now flooding. These people are incompetent, corrupt, and blind. Yes, they're blind. Nothing, everything they touch, they destroy. I tell Gautam, he said, if you could name one thing they built, I could name one thing that they did not destroy, and both of us will fail. They have destroyed everything. So brothers and sisters, infrastructure has collapsed under them. Infrastructure gone. You know, and every day, but this PNM, every day is a bacchanal, a scandal. When they can't find enough scandal in the public, I see it as some private scandal with a former senator or something like that now. I'll tell you something, when I come to the platform, Michelle, I only discuss public business, not private business. Everybody know that. If I discuss any personality, it is in the course of their conduct of public business. I don't talk people private business. I want to make that very clear. I don't. But what I want to tell you tonight is I think this country must get a protection order from the PNM. We, the country, must get a protection order against the PNM because the PNM has been abusing the people. The PNM has been engaging in violence against the people. The PNM has been malicious against the people. The PNM has caused suffering of the people. So we need a protection order from the PNM. That is what we need. And every night, every week, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa gives you the plans, the policies. Our party has the policy. We have the personnel. We need the vote now. We have leader. We have policy. We have personnel. Now we must get the vote and retake the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to say something about Mrs. Prasad Bisesa. No. I was making a point to colleagues Friday in Parliament last time. And I want to make it with deep love and respect. People know I speak like that. Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, with great respect to other prime ministers and with no respect to the current Prime Minister. Mrs. Prasad Bisasa demitted office in 2015, correct? No Prime Minister in this country has demitted office and has never once been accused of corruption. Never once been accused of corruption. Mrs. Prasad Bisasa in 9 years in opposition, not once police gone by she, asking she about anything she did as Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot say the same thing of former Prime Ministers. With great respect, Eric Williams, A.N.R. Robinson, Basil Pandey, Patrick Manning, this current one here, when he was minister, they investigate him. Fala's Prime Minister. She has remained untouched by any allegation of corruption, any allegation. And so today, when she comes to the people, she comes with the experience, she comes with the knowledge, she comes with the understanding, and she comes with a personal, unblemished record to be the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And in the context of this country, and even the wider Caribbean, it says a lot about a leader when she can come to the people with such a reputation for transparency, good governance, and accountability. And I want to make the point again, no minister of her cabinet, none has been charged and convicted of any criminal offense for their role during the People's Partnership Administration. That is a record. They tried with Anand Ramlogan, the same one, having a man from England somewhere lie and give false statements and so on. The thing blow up in their face. There are ministers in the current government. One day they will have to answer for what they did with that Vincent Nelson matter. What was their role? And they may face criminal investigations. They will face criminal investigations for what they did with Vincent Nelson, trying to set up Anand Ramlogan and others. Brothers and sisters, you think it easy? The PNM has no track record. So what do you think they will do? They will come during an election to say, this is the UNC, the partnership, engage in this, engage in that. Rowley did it in San Fernando City Hall a few months ago. His whole speech was allegations under the Partnership Administration. Now that fella cannot protect you from a mosquito. You get it? They cannot protect you from a mosquito. But he come in to talk about allegations during the Partnership Administration. And not one minister has been arrested, far less convicted, of any wrongdoing under the People's Partnership Administration. And I will not be surprised if between now and election, they work with elements in the police. They have elements in the police, and I want to warn police officers today that if you bow, if you take God out of your thoughts, and you go to the PNM to do their dirty work, a UNC administration working with law enforcement will make you accountable for that. Don't do the dirty work of the PNM. The PNM is today pressuring hardworking and experienced policemen and women to go after their political opponents. A man lost his job in law enforcement because he refused to intercept communications of a former government minister under the partnership. He lost his work. They are intimidating law enforcement to do their dirty work. And I ask the police officers to stand strong. Their days are numbered. You do not have to succumb to their bullying, intimidation, and harassment. Brothers and sisters, I tell you that tonight. Look where this country has reached. Michelle told you yesterday by a preschool in Malik, little children have to hear gunshot. When we were growing up, we used to hear the top 10 song from Sesame Street. Who is the people in your neighborhood? Huh? Only remember that? Only never hear that. We used to hear songs from the electric company and Sesame Street. Little children today growing up listening to gunshot. that has a deep psychological scar on the psyche of little children. It will normalize and it will norm violence. When you grow up listening to gunshots like that, and this is the PNM doing that, they are responsible. They appointed a next minister, Scotland. Fella achieved nothing so far, but he walking up and down Podespen, shaking hand and hugging up. Fella achieved nothing, you know. Fella I don't think any of his work so far has led to one police car getting an extra spare tire. I don't think he was able to fix one police car by his role to provide policy and leadership and finance and so on. Hugging up people and here in a walkabout, that will not solve crime. And he comes the same thing to talk like Rowley. When they ask him about crime, he said, that will not work. I want to tell you, we don't stand for that. I think he should be before the sanity board. Because that is the approach of mad people. He should be before the sanity board. We want to know policy, programs, how much CCTV cameras you were able to repair. The police officers, do they have equipment in the station? Do they have working vehicles? That is what we want to know, brothers and sisters. That is what we are concerned about. And they're walking around and meeting people, but they're in a campaign. They're politicizing. Look at this today in the Express. OWTU in Land Row, unions, ex-Petrotrin workers protest lot distribution. You know what is happening here? Months before an election, they call in former Petrotrin workers to say, we have the lot of land for you, we promise. So people go on there excited, I get in my land, nice man, nice. When they come there, it has no deed, it has no lease. They get a little promissory note, something you write out like on a napkin. And you say, look, this lot is yours. So a fella collect one. He say, okay, where the lot? They say, no, we can't tell you that yet. But a lot is yours. That's a lot of BS. That is what it is. They are fooling the people. This is a papi show. This is mama guy. This is lie. Mama guy. The people got the thing. So when they tell them where the land is, here what it's in. We have 20 acres of land. Outside Cedar Hill, Princestown, and we developing there, and one lot is yours. When you go, the land, it have no road, it have no drain, it have no water, it has no electricity. When you get in this land, when you could go on the land, you cannot even go and see the lot because it is not in a state that you could go onto the land and look at your lot. So they are into a papi show. 9 years they're in office, and I come back to the issue. Michelle raised it earlier. When we were in office, we gave over 4,000 agricultural leases to the Caroni workers. Do you know? We gave Mrs. Prasad Visesa personally, she came to those functions. I remember them nice, man. I had to go into my records today to see headlines and so on of those days, you know. Ex-Caroni workers get leases. This is from the Newsday, brothers and sisters, when we were in office. December 2010. December 2010. 610 former Caroni workers get leases. Relief as ex-Caroni workers get leases. January 2012, 2010, 2011. We gave out lots of land. Today, if you go to a place called Pitimoon, you go in Couva to a place called Exchange. If you go to Picton off Diamond here, you will see full developed areas, right? With houses, sometimes some good size house too. Houses built on the land given by the People's Partnership to the former Caroni workers. You'll see it. We were developing lands. In 9 years, they have developed not one single estate to give to the Caroni workers. Those lots that they're proposing now for the Petrotrin workers are lands that we identified for the Caroni workers. Now, all people deserve their land and so on, nothing is wrong with that. But why did they not develop new sites to ensure the Caroni workers get their lots, to ensure the Petrotrin workers get their lots as well? They did nothing. They did nothing, brothers and sisters, and today Everything with them is a scandal. They were telling you, the councillors, they wire 43 million to CPEP and something called Rural Development Company. Those of you looking at this live stream, they will bring up some information. Rural Development Company, proposals by contractors, they have awarded contracts and so on. So they use the money from the regional corporations to go to rural development. And I'm telling you, we will call for a forensic investigation into the operations of the Rural Development Company. We are informed that a racket is taking place in that company where one business person will have two companies and they tender against themselves. So one man with two companies, he tendering against himself. Who do you think will win? Himself? And when you outline the list of contractors, brothers and sisters, not in the list that we are showing now, we have a full list, brothers and sisters, it will show you that there are sometimes one contractor with 2 or 3 companies and they're doing the work. Well, they get the contract, but they were bidding against themselves. So when A company get one project, B will get the second project, C will get the third project, and the same person just end up with 3 projects. That is what they're doing in the Rural Development Company. The chairperson is one Patricia Alexis, I think. And we are asking the question whether this is the same person, chairman of the Rural Development Company, who is also or was also employed as an advisor in the Ministry of Rural Development. Because when you are chairman of a company, we have people here who have been chairman and so on, the ministry supervises you. You can't be in the ministry supervising yourself. You understand what's happening here? That defines, brothers and sisters, that defines their governance. And I'll say much more about that. We are collecting some data, and maybe in the budget, we will hear much more about the Rural Development Company, brothers and sisters. I don't want to keep you very, very long, but just to indicate to you that the Prime Minister makes a point a few months ago. You know, he blamed the UNC, Kamla, and all of you for everything. He said the UNC racing away investors. You hear that? Not crime, the criminal not chasing away investors, the UNC doing that. That is what his warped thinking tells him. Today, many people who would like to come here to invest will not. They will not, because of the state of crime in this country. Who want to come here to open a factory and pay extortion money and have your loved one kidnapped or killed? Who want to do that? Brothers and sisters, crime is chasing away investors, business, preventing job creation, and the government is clueless. Even in the Ministry of National Security, there are some business people who, by the nature of their business, they require what is called a work permit for people with special skills to come into the country. You know, it takes years to get a work permit in this country. I have a fella, he's Minister of Digital Transformation. Let me tell you something. Anybody know who is he? But he could be sitting here now and we don't know. He could be in the UNC meeting and we don't know. It could be one of you. But we don't attract PNM in this kind of business. We don't attract them because from what we're reading about them, we gotta be careful before we need a protection order too. So brothers and sisters, this government has collapsed on all fronts. This government has collapsed in managing every problem this country faces. And in the closing few minutes, I will just say a few things about crime. Now, a few days ago we told you the Coast Guard today in this country don't have one working vessel that is seaworthy to patrol our borders. Not one. They have all done, repair, dry docking and all that type of thing. Not one. This is the first time in our history. Therefore, this government ought to inquire. This government and the ministers ought to engage with our foreign partners, the United Kingdom, the United States and others, to assist us with border patrol. Guns are coming in, drugs, human trafficking, etc. And we cannot even patrol the border. We don't have the capacity. It is the first time in our nation's history this has been allowed to happen. And Rowley traveling the whole world, you know, he just come back from a medical checkup. But apparently it went good because he carried the golfing partners with him too. So I don't know what kind of medical checkup that is. Part of it must be swinging the golf club as part of the checkup. So, and he came back after 12 days or so and then could not go to the United Nations meeting in New York now. He missed that. Big issues, their leaders attend that to share, to speak, to make all these kind of, bilateral meetings with other leaders and critical people and so on. He doesn't go to that because he just come back from playing golf and medical checkup. So brothers and sisters, this fella is also a lazy case. You cannot be a prime minister of a country if you're lazy. It don't work like that. Notice all the foreign trips he goes on. I've been watching this fella. Something about me. I make him out as a smart man long time ago. All the trips he go on, right? Think of it. Are trips to meet corporate leaders. You notice he don't attend things like multinational meetings of countries, big conferences and things, where they go take a picture of you in the meeting. Where they will actually have whether you attend the meeting in the morning, whether you attend the next day, whether you attend the next day. If you go to the UN, you can't hide. You have to go to the meeting. You have to physically go. But he likes these trips where you go behind closed doors and meet the CEO and meet the that. You know why? Them trips could last 15 minutes of work. And you have 3-4 days to party. I have checked this thing out. When was the last time you attend some big conference or something? Then they just attend expo. Expo mean you show up in a place like this, you watch 2 tables, you make 2 laugh and you're gone. That's the kind of meeting they like, But meetings where you have to attend all day, listen to people, engage, make a presentation, have working groups and things. You don't hear the Prime Minister Trinidad there, He going to hold big pumpkin and thing in some expo in Guyana. He going to our next expo on construction to pose with a tractor. That's what they do. And talking about construction, it is really interesting. I mean, myself, Miss Jerlene John, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, Tim Gopi Singh and so on, we have been involved in construction for 5 years in our government. There's a new chairman of, is it NIPDEC? Dr. Miriam Richards. So you know that? Unless I'm mistaken, I am informed that she's attending a construction workshop representing Trinidad and Tobago today. Now, when this medical doctor learn how to build house and build bridge and build road and thing to represent Trinidad because of construction, there's a COVID awardee or something, or a doctor or something in the COVID. Everything is put in square pegs in wrong hole. I'm putting wrong hole in square peg. Putting square pegs in the wrong hole. And putting the wrong peg in the square hole. That is it, yeah. Putting the wrong peg in the square hole. That is what they do. So I don't want to misinterpret that. So that is what they do. They put the wrong people in the wrong position and then you have no road, you have no bridge, you have no school, you have no hospital functioning. And the crime has come to their doorstep, as you heard. You have heard them say, of course, about Dial Singh and so on. Dial Singh go on, he's sitting by a rum shop in front of St. Joseph, somewhere there. He was sitting by a rum shop. Why have everybody know? Nobody want to say that. Why? He's sitting in front by a rum shop. He said he went to eat nuts. And fella, he has some big bearer. But the whole country know you cannot put on gold and jewelry and diamond and walk around in this country. Huh? Who does put on diamond and gold and thing and walk around in Trinidad? You crazy? You can't even go to a wedding with them kind of jewelry now. He in front by the rum shop because he think he's Mr. Minister now. Nobody ever want to hold he up and the thing. They rob him.
What?
Yes. They rob him. And then he called in the minister and said, Mr. Minister, look what we come to. How we know we now come to that? We come to that 9 years ago when they reached into power. We come to that. I mean, I'm happy nothing worse happened to him. But worse has happened to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And we must share our empathy with every single ordinary citizen who has been a victim of crime. And tell this fella, Dial Singh, from now on, walk around with a little plastic band or some raki or something on your hand. Don't be walking around with gold and diamond and thing and feel you as minister. You know, all of them have security up and down the place, you know. So they feel that they're untouchable. And then one day they get a rude awakening. So brothers and sisters, These are a few issues we wish to raise with you. There are other issues, of course, that we will deal with in the pavement report as we come to the various areas in the country. But to assure you in closing, I make a point that Anil Ram always tells me to make. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, now is a time for confidence. Your enemy have propaganda. They want to tell you that you can't win without he. You can't win without she. You can't win with she. You can't win with he. And they want to tell you who you could work with and who you can't work with. We have been the most organized and mobilized political party in opposition for 9 years. All you know that? We have had what they tell me to be over 400 Monday night meetings of one sort or another. We have had hundreds of press conferences. We have had in this series over 50 pavement reports. We have been organizing our supporters, mobilizing, working hard for years. We must have confidence that we can do it. Having said that, we know the imperative of unity. We know the imperative of unity, not just to win, but to govern. If you want to manage the affairs of this country, you have to mobilize all the people to develop the country. You have to, for election purposes, politics, we have to mobilize. We have to build unity. But we must have confidence in ourselves as foot soldiers of the United National Congress. Have confidence, hold your head up high. Be proud. Be proud. No party in opposition has been able to do what we are doing tonight. In the Caribbean, don't talk about the Caribbean. When you have an election for 5 years, nobody does know who's the opposition. If I ask you some islands in the Caribbean, who is the opposition leader? None of you know. They don't have this vibrancy. They close down and 5 years later they open up. You don't know because they're not they don't mobilize as highly. If you ask in the Caribbean, who is the opposition leader at Trinidad and Tobago, everybody knows. Everybody knows who is the opposition leader in this country. And who are other UNC operatives as well, they know. So we have a proud history. We have served this country with distinction. Anything good you see in this country is the UNC built it. And today, we are one step closer to saving this country. We cannot even think if the PNM get 5 more years what this place will be. We cannot think. You can't think about that. Can't think it. We are coming closer and closer. So I ask you to be confident in your leader. Be confident in your leadership. Be confident in your party. Be confident in our policies. And be confident that we will retake the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our political leader. And long live our struggle for equality, justice, and unity. Thank you. God bless you all.
Did you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
So many diagnostic reports in this report here today. I thank all the members of Parliament.